Hi children, so this is our fifth video for grade 6, right? So if you haven't watched my previous videos, please go and watch them first, because this is like a video series. So this is the fifth chapter for the grade 6. Algorithm and flowcharts, right? So both of these words may be bit new for you because you're grade 6 kids. Even if you're a adult, sometimes you may have never heard these words, sometimes if you're not from IT industry, but it's very simple thing, right? So what it is mean now, first think about problem solving. Have you any idea about problem solving? It's not nothing big, right? So for example, if you have prepared a birthday cake, if you have prepared a fruit salad, actually no, in these occasions you have solve a problem, right? So if you have done a mathematical um, calculation to calculate the rectangle area or area of a circle, or if you do something like that, if you find if a given number is whether it's odd or even, if you have found it, right? If you found what is your grade based on the marks, now for example, uh, if your marks is like 70, you know whether it's a good mark or not, right? So if you have done those things, those are very basic problem solving things, steps you have followed, right? So in problem solving, what is the main thing you have to do is you have to first identify your problem, right? You have to analyze your problem, right? So then only you can get a good understanding how you can solve the problem, right? So when you are solving the problem, there is a process of doing it. So there are basically three things: input, process, output, right? Input is what are the things you need to solve the problem, right? Process is what are the guidelines you're following to solve the problem, and output is the final result after you solving the problem. So actually, solving problem means like you take your inputs, you process that, and you process it based on some guidelines, and then you get some result after solving the problem. So that whole thing we call it as solving problems. So they have given you a very nice example here. First thing is preparing a fruit salad, right? So what are the input? Varieties of fruits, right? For example, apples, mangoes, papayas, pineapples, some people put grapes. So all these things are variety of fruits, right? Process is you wash the fruits, you peel them, you cut into small pieces, and you mix it with, some people put sugar and lime, and you mix it and you finally serve it, right? So output is a fruit salad. So that is a simple problem solved. So we'll go for something very specific like mathematical calculation. So if you want to find the area of a rectangle, what are the inputs to calculate the rectangle area? We need length and width, right? So the length into width, you multiply it and you get, that's the process. So if you multiply length and width together, output you get as the area of the rectangle. Hope you understood the basic thing. So if they ask you to find inputs, process and output for to solve a problem, you should see what is the problem here and how we are going to solve it. What are the process you have to follow it. So then we are going to talk about something called algorithm, right? So here algorithm is something very important thing. Now before going to algorithm, if you have ever put your uniform correctly, right, you may have to wear, if you are a boy, maybe shirt and the short, sometimes the trousers. So then you wear your socks, then you wear your shoes, badges and all, right? So if you're a girl, you may wear your uh, frock, uniform, and then you wear the ties, badges, and you wear shoes and socks like that. So if you have put on your school uniform itself, you have to follow an algorithm. We'll talk what it is. So if you have prepared a fruit salad, if you prepare a cake, if you have prepared a cup of tea, right? If you complete art like drawing and coloring and that thing, so all these things, if you have done these things in an order, kind of, so you know how to use an algorithm. It's not very new thing. So here they have given you the definition. So these definitions are very important, especially in the exam. If they ask what is an algorithm, first write these words, then you can explain in your terms. So algorithm, a method that includes all the steps of solving a problem in order. So there are mainly few things you have to very carefully pay attention. Here in using an algorithm, what we are going to do, we are going to solve a problem. Hope you understand that, right? So to solve a problem, you have to follow a process, right? You have input, then you have process. So this process will contain multiple steps. Step 1, step 2, step 3, like that, right? Then when you follow these steps, you should do it in an order. You cannot do as like step 1, step 5, step 2, like that. So there's a special order you have to follow. So if you follow all these steps in order to solve a problem, we call it as an algorithm. So we'll see a basic example. It's about creating a fruit salad. You may have done all this. So step 1 is finding fruits. Step 2, washing them. Step 3, peeling and cutting, right? Step 4, you put all these fruits into a bowl, you add sugar and lime, all these things, and you mix it. Step 6 is you serve the fruit salad. Right? Very simple thing. You may have done these things. If not, today itself, ask from your parents and get some fruits and do it, right? Because you are not very small kids, right? You are grade 6 kids, so you can try this out. Okay. So here it's very important you follow the steps very sequentially, right? For example, you do step 1, and can you do step 4? No. That means you get your fruits and then you mix them. No. So that's why this order is very important uh, to be done in a proper way. Otherwise, you cannot solve the problem as the expected manner, right? So they have given another example. Now, when you're writing the algorithms, you have to make sure there's a standard way of doing it, right? So every algorithm must have something like start as the step 1, and step the last step should be the end with the end word, right? So there should be a compulsory initial step and a final step in addition to the normal steps you have. Hope you understand. That means step 1 should be always start, and the last step should be always end. So in between you can have multiple steps, right? So here the algorithm is for making a chocolate cake, right? So these steps may be a bit different if you have really made a chocolate cake, but doesn't matter. We'll go through the steps and see. So step 1, initial step is start. Step 2, you clean the baking trays and other bowls, your beater, spoons and everything. Then you dissolve chocolate. So this is for a chocolate cake. Either you can use chocolate powder or you can use the real chocolate, but you have to make it dissolve it. Then step 4, you mix the flour, baking powder and keep it aside, right? And step 5, you put butter and you beat it, and you add sugar while you are beating, right? And add egg one by one as step 6, right? So after everything is mixed, finally you add your flour mixture, but normally we don't use beater for that. We use a spoon to mix it, right? Step 7 is finally you add your chocolate, add your milk, right? Make sure you don't add too much milk, right? then you have a very tasty mixture. So my favorite is that mixture, but some may not like it, but I like that cake mixture. So then you take that mixture and put it to the baking tray and bake it based on the expected time and the temperature, right? Then let it cool fully, right, as the step 10, and then you can decorate. You can put icing, any icing. There are so many types of icing, so you can make it a gatto, I don't know. So you can decorate it, and step 12 or the last step is the end of it. Understood? So if you prepare a butter cake, normal butter cake, you will not have step 3 and step 7. That's it. Rest of the thing is very similar. Okay. So that's the algorithm. It's not very big thing. You just have to write these steps in order with the start and end, uh, initial and the final step. There's another example. So algorithm to find the area of a rectangle, right? So here there are 6 steps. So first step is start, last step is end. So how to find the area of a rectangle? Step 2, you get the length. Step 3, you get the width. Step 4, you multiply length into width, right? And step 5 is you get the area of a rectangle. Very easy. Now, same thing if you find the area of a square. Step 1 is start. Step 2, you can take any length of a side, right? Then step 3 will be area is equal to this one side length into same thing, right? For example, if the side length is 4, 4 into 4, you will get 16 as the area. And step 5 will be end, right? Understood? So let me show you some examples, more examples. So this is an algorithm to prepare vegetable salad. So similar to the fruit salad, we can go for a vegetable salad, right? Step 1 is start, step 8 is end, right? So step 2, you find various kind of vegetables like cucumber, carrot, lettuce, cabbage, tomatoes. Some people put chilies, right? Bell pepper, like that. So then step 3, you wash all the vegetables, right? Step 4, you peel and cut into small pieces. Step 5, you put all these pieces of vegetables into a bowl. You add salt, pepper, lime juice in step 6 and mix it properly. And step 7, you serve the vegetable salad in a bowl. Step 8 is our common last step, that is end. Okay, hope you understand. This is another algorithm. Um, so to prepare a tea, not sure whether you really have done it, but give a try and see. When your mother is preparing a tea, go and see whether she is following this algorithm. So you can tell, mommy, you are following an algorithm, right? So these are the steps you are doing, even without knowing, even with the practice. Mommy may doing it every day, right? She is actually following an algorithm, right? So step 1, you start it, right? Step 2, you boil water. Step 3, you have this boiled water. So for that uh, boiled water, you are going to add it to a spoon of tea leaves, right? Then let the tea leaves steep. That means you have to keep aside for some time, right? And then you strain tea leaves and pour hot water into a teacup. Then you add into a different cup, you add milk powder, sugar, mix it bit, and then you put that earlier tea into that milk powder mixture. That is step 5. Step 6, you stir well. Sometimes some people need to strain it again, right? And then you can serve. Step 7 is the normal, usual, common end step. Okay, so this is very mathematical thing. You may know this sometimes, not the real household stuff, but these things may be more familiar for you. But don't do like that. You get used to your household things as well. Don't let only mommy to do it. Go and help her. Okay. So write an algorithm to find whether given number is odd or even. Right. So step one is the initial step. Start. Step two, you get your number. Right. Step 3, you divide that number. For example, if you get the number as 5, you divide 5 by 2, right? Step 4, you get the remainder. Remainder means, children, now if 5 is divided by 2, the answer is 2, but remainder is 1, right? Because 2 into 2 is 4, so 5 minus 4 is actually 1. So remainder is 1. Step 5. If remainder is 0, the given number is even. So we got remainder as 1. So that means our number should be odd number. Right? For example, if we take 4 as the number, 4 divided by 2, the remainder will be 0. Answer is 2, but remainder is 0. Nothing is left, right? 4, if you divide by 2, nothing is left. That is remainder. So if you get the remainder as 0, that means the number is an even number. If you take a big number, big number, 100. So 100, you divide by 2, the answer is 50, but do we have any remainder? No. So remainder is 0. So that means our number is an even number. So similar thing. Uh, can you tell me an algorithm to find whether a given number is a multiple of 5? Right? How to get it? So step 1, start. Step 2, get the number. So number will think number as 15. Step 3, divide the number by 5. Now you are going to find multiples of 5. So you have to divide that particular number with 5. Step 4, get the remainder. So if you divide 15 by 5, do you get any remainder? No, it will be 0. So step 5, if the remainder is 0, that means it's a multiple of 5. Right? If you have any remainder, then it's not a multiple of 5. Step 6 is the end step. Did you understand? Okay. So we'll for the multiple of 5, let's take another number and see. We get 16. So step 1 is start. Step 2, you get a number. We'll take number as 16. And step 3, you divide that number by 5. 16 divided by 5. Answer is 3, but remainder is 1. Okay. So step 4, get the remainder. So remainder is 1. Right. Step 5, if the remainder is 0, then it's a multiple of 5. Otherwise, it's not. So we got the remainder as 1. So 16 is not a multiple of 5. Okay. Then step 6 is the end. Okay. Hope you understood about the algorithm. So hope you understood. Now it's very clear how to write an algorithm. So next thing we are going to talk about is flowcharts. Right? So flowchart is the same thing, the algorithmic steps you written earlier. We are going to represent using graphical things, right? So we are using graphical representation of the algorithm steps. So before going to flowchart, any idea why this is important? Why we just can write the steps? But children, always remember, if you use a graphical representation, everybody can understand. If you know these symbols, anybody can understand. Okay, and it's very easy for communication. Right. So these graphical representation thing you will learn in your, if you are into IT industry and these things. So you will learn a lot of diagrams, uh, diagrams. So you will understand why it is very important. Some complex system, you can put it to this graphic, graphical representation, so it's very easy to understand as well as easy to communicate with another part. Okay, that's why these flowcharts are very important. So these symbols you have to remember, there is no option, right? So the first symbol, this oval shaped thing, is the start and end. You remember always our step 1 and the last step was start and end. So for that we use this oval shape symbol. Next thing, this is like a parallelogram, right? So this is used to indicate the input and output. Remember, after the start step normally we have the inputs, right? And before the end step we have output. Okay, I will explain this, but make sure you remember these symbols, otherwise it will be a bit confusing for you, right? Then the rectangle is to show the action or a process. For example, when you prepare the chocolate cake, there was a process like you add your egg one by one to the mixture of sugar and beat it, right? So that's like some kind of a process. And when you calculate the area of a rectangle, you multiply length into width and got area, right? So that is another action or a process. So those things will come in a rectangle. Then this is a diamond shape, right? And you can see there are two branches, two arrows going like this. Yes, no. I will explain what it is. Before that, this diamond is used when you are doing decision making, right? So you want to make a decision. Now see, in the example, they have going to make a decision. Is the first number is greater than second number? Now, for example, you have two numbers, number 2 and number 3. So you are going to check whether number 2 is greater than number 3. Is number 2 greater than number 3? No. So if no, you have to go through this path. If it is yes, for example, you take 4 and 3, so 4 is greater than 3. So yes, first number is greater than the second number, yes. So then you have to go through this section. I will explain this, don't worry. You remember up to now, we use diamonds for decision making. Okay, next thing is these arrows, right? So this is used to indicate the direction of the data flow, right? I will explain with a simple example, then you will understand. Okay, this is small flow chart, right? So it's basically they are going to prepare a fruit salad. So these steps may be very familiar for you because we previously wrote the algorithmic steps. So here we put that steps into a graphical representation. That's it, right? So can you see the start and end symbols? That is oval shape symbol. Then we have parallelograms, right? For the inputs. So what is the input for a vegetable salad? It's vegetable. Sorry, this is a fruit salad. Sorry. So what is the input for a fruit salad? It's fruits. Or you can have some additional sugar. Those are also inputs, right? Then what is the output? You serve the final fruit salad. That's the output. So input and output are having the same shape. Then all the rest of the things, all the steps, usual normal steps we followed are like those are actions, those are process steps. So those are in rectangles. Wash the fruits, cut the fruits, put it to a bowl, mix with sugar and all. Then all these things are like process or actions. Did you get the understanding? Right? We'll see another one. This is a flowchart to find the area of a rectangle, right? So start and end are the oval shapes ones. Then what are the inputs? Two inputs are needed, length and width. Two inputs, length and width. What is the output? Find in the area, right? So what is the only there's only one step, like only one action to do there. You have to multiply length and width. to get the area. So that is in a rectangular shape. Now see the arrows. Arrows are going down. So that will show how the data will flow. First step to last step. It's basically going down. So before jumping to the summary, let me show you some more examples, right? Okay, let's look into this example. So here what happens is now the students, based on the students' marks, you have to decide whether he or she is passed or failed. Right, so passing mark is 35. Right, we'll see how it happens. So start and end, it's the same thing. The like kind of oval shaped thing, right? Round cornered rectangles, yeah. Then we have the input. So you get the students' marks. We'll think it's 50, right? So then it compares, this is a decision making thing. If mark is greater than 35, so if the student's mark is 50 and 50 is greater than 35, so that condition is satisfying. So yes, 50 greater than 35, yes, it's pass, right? So here actually I have missed one arrow. There should be arrow like this up to here. Okay, there should be arrow coming. Okay, like this. Then if the marks is greater than 35, yes condition we know. If it is no, right, that means we take 20. 20 greater than 35. No, it's fail and it's the end of it. So please remember here from the pass to end there should be an arrow. It's missing. Okay. So we'll go for another one. It's a bit having more steps, but it's not having decision making thing, right? So you, this is about how to prepare a tea, right? You start, you get water, tea leaves, milk powder, sugar, right? You boil water, you add tea leaves to the you have tea leaves and you add boiled water to that. Then you mix milk powder and sugar, right? Then you add the plain tea to the milk and sugar, right? You stir them, right? And you mix them well, and then you finally serve the cup of tea, and it's the end. Sorry, this it's not in correct like kind of format because this picture was bit big, so I just shrink it and put it, right? But hope you understood the initial idea. So this is another decision making, right? So this will identify whether a person is eligible to vote. Now if you are watching this in real time, our election is coming. So based on your age, we can decide whether you are eligible to vote or not, right? So you start, right? Start and end is common, right? Then you get the age of a citizen, right? Now we'll think your age is about 11 years, right? If you are a grade 6 student, it's about 11. So if 11 greater than 18, is this condition is satisfying? No, not eligible to vote. So if you are grade 6, you are not eligible to vote, and it's the end of it, right? And if the age is 18, more than 18, right? For example, if you're 20 years old, 20 greater than 18 years, right? This condition is satisfying, so you are eligible to vote. And please note here also there should be arrow up to the end part. Okay, I have missed it. Okay. So that's the end of this chapter. This is a bit complex chapter, yes. So if you feel you need some help, you can comment and ask, right? So you have to do a lot of exercises. You try to write algorithms and you try to do the flowcharts more. Then it will be easy for you, right? So this is a summary. So first, before solving a problem, you have to analyze the problem, and when you're solving a problem, there's input output process, right? So we discuss what is input, what is process, and what is output, right? So if we write this method into steps in order to solve a problem, it's an algorithm, right? So normally when you're writing a algorithm, there's a standard way of doing it. There's a start and end, right? And you write all the steps in between. And flowchart is the graphical representation, and we have special symbols for that, right? To indicate different, for example, start, end, and input, output, and then the process or the steps or the actions, and finally to do the decision making, right? So hope you got the clear understanding of chapter 5, right? So if you haven't still subscribed my channel, please subscribe. And if you already have subscribed, click the bell button and keep, because then you can get the notifications when I upload new videos. So please do like, or I don't know, if you don't like this video, please dislike, then it is your choice. And please do comment, right? So then it's some kind of a motivation for me as well. And if you have any questions, please do ask, so I will help you on it. So thank you very much. So we'll meet with another video. Thanks.